Gemini and Gemini sexual and intimacy compatibility. When we think of two Gemini in a sexual relationship, it is okay if we laugh a little. The image that comes to mind could easily be the image of two people with split personalities, trying to have sex by banging their heads together and talking at the same time. Although they will most certainly have an abundance of information on sexual activity, only after they have had some experience can they become great lovers. It is very rare for a Gemini as an air sign to be practical and find the way to manifest what they've read or heard about in the realm of reality and physical body. Their biggest quality is the ability to learn. With their desire to become great lovers, they will absorb knowledge through each of their relationship like a sponge. Two Gemini together will share information and coordinate their previous experiences with one another. They will be more satisfied when they teach their partner something, than they will be by sex itself. With their open minds and creative wit, there is probably not a single place they wouldn't want to have sex with, nor a position they wouldn't want to try out. It is not like they are promiscuous, but find joy and excitement in the change of scenery, especially if there is relative movement involved, too. So imagine a train, an airplane, restroom, or any means of transportation in which it is possible to hide. However, their sexual life can become empty when the excitement has passed if none of them has enough depth to bring into the act of sex. They are not even aware of the focus and emotional connection they need, until they find the right partner. Usually this is not another Gemini. Their hearts should be dug up and their relation to sexuality changed, before they get together with one of their kind. Any other scenario probably won't keep them satisfied for very long. Gemini and Gemini trust. They might not trust each other, but they don't really care. They both know themselves, so it is easy to understand each other in all those flaky, superficial, and changeable moods. Basically, one of them is going to move in 2 minutes and the other one in 3, so how can they trust each other to stay? If they knew their own next move, they might be able to build the trust with someone so similar to them. This is not something that will bother them. On the contrary, it will give them the freedom to be themselves, but rarely keep them in a relationship for too long. Gemini and Gemini communication and intellect. Communication between a Gemini and another Gemini never ends. They will jump in each other's sentences and use all possible communication tools, starting with the usual phone conversations and chat that will grow into dozens of chat variations, depending on the emoticon that they want to use. When they get together, there is always something to share, an idea to be up for discussion and a distance to be crossed on foot. It is wonderful to watch them together as they find someone who understands and speaks in the same language. For as long as there is enough respect and listening between them, the intellectual side of their relationship will be intact. Gemini and Gemini emotions. The sign of Gemini is not that emotional to begin with. The good thing is that they both know this and find a rational explanation of the benefit of their mutual lack of emotion. Still, there is a need in each one of them to reach for something they can't have. It is to be expected that the more open Gemini will build a deep emotional bond with their partner, although their feelings might not be returned. Since they rely on an intellectual connection with someone, they could find true emotional satisfaction in their communication, but this is easily shattered due to the fact that mental compatibility is not the same as emotional, let alone sexual. Often, they will deny this and hold on to what they have, until one of them gets swept off their feet by someone who wakes their emotions with silence. Gemini and Gemini values. When we say freedom, we think of Aquarius, but in fact Gemini values freedom as much, if not even more than their Aquarius friend. This is a value that two Gemini will passionately share. They don't like to be bored with tiresome details, obligations of a meaningful relationship, or their partner's need for compassion that is not to be asked for. The problem is in the fact that they think too much, and feel much less. If they could get out of their head for a couple of seconds, they might realize that their chest is crying out for intimacy, closeness, and compassion. Gemini and Gemini shared activities. This title says it all. They share activities. All of them. If one of them wants to do, well, basically anything, the other one will follow out of pure curiosity, and vice versa. Even if both of them didn't really want to do something, they will both do it together out of curiosity. After they share an experience, they will put it through a mind filter, talk it out, and move on to the next one. There is really no stopping for these two, and no one can follow them like they can follow each other. Summary. The relationship between two Gemini will give other signs of the zodiac an almost certain headache. They will go everywhere together, do everything together, and talk about everything with one another, again and again, until one of them loses interest in the other. Because of their possibly superficial approach, it is best if they have already had some relationships with depth before they met each other. This could give them the quality to last together for longer than a week or two. In most cases, this is not a relationship they will want to stay in, although their mutual understanding is perfect. It is like they are too similar, and at the same time a relationship of too many personalities. If each of them isn't gathered into one person, they will need someone who is, to hold their balance and not let them dissipate. In case they have built up personalities and each of them understands their own inner core, they can probably live forever and never consume the energy their connection brings.